Alright, welcome to Module 14. Let's look at the Module 14 introduction. It says that we spent the last several weeks discussing differences in writing styles, and hopefully you've been able to see the differences in preparing these different texts. That is, the new media text, the traditional media, and this time you're going to focus on seeing examples of those forms of media and comparing them with academic writing or academic media. Okay, so in this week it says you're going to address who is academic writing for, that is, who is the audience for that kind of text. What does academic writing sound like? What are the components of the message? What's the tone and so forth? And what does academic writing look like? That is, how is it actually conveyed through a certain medium with a certain mode? Like, what are the stylistic expectations? If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that there's two things for you to read. First is academic writing style. It points out first what academic writing is, the big picture of it, how it works, the overall tone, the diction and language that's used, how punctuation is done, some conventions, that they're thesis-driven. That's an important aspect of academic writing, is that you write a thesis, or academics will write a thesis and then will work to support that thesis. There's complexity and higher order thinking that's used. Okay, so you need to read this text in detail. The other one is, what is academic writing from Scribner, and this is provides some basic things for you as well. That points out that academic writing is formal and unbiased, it's clear and precise, focused and well-structured, well-sourced, meaning that they use a lot of references to justify the claims that they make, to support the claims they make. It's correct and consistent. It's not personal, long-winded, or emotive and grandiose. Okay, emotive meaning it doesn't contain emotional statements in it. It's not making sweeping, epic claims about the human condition. There's no poetry. It's much more precise, unbiased, and objective language. There's a lot of other things that it points out about academic writing, so make sure you look at this text as well. Okay, what is it that you're going to be doing in the journal, which is entitled Journal 14.1, Thinking and Writing About Academic Style? This week, you're going to look at 3 different texts that all focus on a similar topic. So one of them is going to be new media, another one is traditional media, and the third is the academic media. And you're going to use your texts, to discuss the differences in the modes of composition. So you've already seen what new media is like, and you've created a product like it. You've already seen what traditional media is like, and you've created a product like it. But now we're doing more comparison between not just old and new media, but also academic media. You want to be able to point out the similarities and the differences in their construction, in their style, and composition. So before you write your journal, you need to choose one group of texts from below and watch and read the material carefully. You should make some notes on the obvious differences in how the texts differ and in their approach to the similar topic. So it's not just that the way that things are formatted or laid out on the page are different, but even the approach to understanding the topic is different. Okay, someone who is writing a newspaper article, a journalist, is going to have a different approach to understanding the topic from someone who is creating a YouTube video. There we have an example of old and new media, right? Even if they're talking about the same thing. But then also the academic, the scholars, are going to have very different approaches to understanding that content as well, or that topic as well. So you need to be able to distinguish between the approach that they're taking, not just how it's written. Okay? So, in a brief journal, compare and contrast the 3 texts from your chosen group. Do not discuss your own feelings on the subject matter. Okay? This isn't the chance for you to reflect on the topic and to say, well, I think this or I believe this. Leave that out. Instead, you're offering a brief rhetorical analysis of each. So you need to address the following in your response. How would you describe the tone of each? How would you describe the potential bias of each? Who is the intended audience for each source? That should be easy by now. We've done a lot of that. What research did the writer or speaker do to understand the topic? And you want to point out the differences between the three texts. And identify specific ways in which the academic approach to research and writing differs from other forms of popular media. I'm having trouble speaking today. I apologize. Now, this is the most important question or most important topic for you to write on, and it's the one that students skip. And so their points just go down into the tank, because they'll talk about these things and then they won't talk about this one. They leave out the academic issue entirely. That's what this whole module is focused on. Okay, so even though you're going to describe the tone, bias, intended audience, and the different research taken by each, you've got to specify how the academic approach to researching and writing on the topic is different from the other forms of media. You must write on it. Okay? So here are the two text groups you get to choose from. You can either choose from group 1, which is about paranormal activity, which has this text, a new media text that is a YouTube video. It has this document, which is, this is the journalistic newspaper article, and then this one is the academic article, the paranormal experiences, sensory processing. Okay, so if you choose group 1, you're dealing with all three of these texts and comparing them for all of these issues. Okay, or you can choose group 2, which is about gender reveal parties. Again, the new media is the YouTube video by Drew Gooden. The traditional media is the explosion at gender reveal party kills woman. At least I think that's the journalistic article one, if I recall right. And then the gender reveal parties PDF is an academic source. Your journal should be a minimum of 300 words. Now, you're going to need to write more than that, honestly, in order to capture all of these elements across all three of your texts, whether the paranormal activity text or the gender reveal party text. You need to refer to all three articles in your text group. Cite them, paraphrase them, use in-text citations in MLA style, and create a works cited page. You are now back to where you are writing in the structure and the format of an MLA style document for the course. Okay, so format the document accordingly. Take a look at Module 2 for those videos that point out how to do that. Also make sure that you're citing information using in-text citations and that you've got your works cited entries for each source. If you have any questions, send me an email.